welcome to Property Matters here on Dublin South FM. You can contact the show on Twitter, Facebook or LinkedIn at iPropertyRadio or email hello@iPropertyRadio.com. My first guest today is Mike Tourlin of Bentley Mental Health and founder of Construction Buddies. Mike, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Mike, you're certainly have a deep background in construction. So you might just tell us your own background, please.
Okay, I've been I'm 64 years old this year, and I'm a project manager, and I've been I've been in construction ever since I was 16, and I've built from apartment blocks to large housing estates. So there's nothing I can't build, and so I'm quite happy, sort of like to say, to build anything I say. But obviously, due to my past mental health issues in 2009, I started Bentley Mental Health.
Okay, and well, first of all, we're definitely going to get into the work that you're doing, the great work you're doing through Bentley Mental Health and, of course, Construction Buddies. But first, I need you to explain the name. Why Bentley?
Well, in 2009, after suffering all my mental health issues, 3 years ago, nearly 4 years ago now, I actually got a large tax rebate. And after giving everything I owned away in 2009, literally every single thing, my money, my cars, because I wasn't planning on being alive. 3 years ago, I got a large tax rebate that I wasn't expecting. And I thought, what do I do with the money? I thought, I earn quite good money in construction anyway, because it's quite well paid. And I thought, well, instead of just having another couple of good holidays, I saw a Bentley on eBay, and I thought, I'm going to treat myself after giving everything away over the past few years and having nothing. And I saw a Bentley, and I thought, I'm going to buy it. One of 11 kids, so quite a large family. And I went out and bought a Bentley. I even bought it without even looking at it. I just saw a picture of it and said, if you can deliver it tomorrow, I'll have it. And then I use that now to go around all the UK car events.
And what's really interesting, I know just before we came on air, I didn't understand the connection between, say, a car show and mental health and construction, but you painted a very clear picture of how there is a link, and that link is maybe just the human component. So you might just kind of talk us through some of the events that you go to and how you engage with people at those.
Okay, I go to all the major events, and also loads of small events like Bewley Blend and Palace, the NEC, London Build Exhibition, and tons more. And I have my Bentley, which has all been customised, and so obviously that's a talking point. And I have a banner there that says all about my mental health story, what you don't see from here apart from a flash car is how I got here today. And there's my story of, obviously, I tried it in my life and things like that. And then also I have some teddies there, Henry and Harriet. Harriet sits at the table, alcohol-free champagne, and Henry sits in a little small Bentley, electric Bentley. And it gets kids coming over and look at it. And then the parents read my story, and so many of them just break down and cry, because obviously it's quite a sad story, obviously, but it's sad, but it shows that I turned my life around. But also it helps them open up about their own issues that they was going through.
Mike, thank you for being so honest and so forthcoming with your story. And I know the good work that you do and the impact that has. In Ireland, mental health, the conversation on mental health and construction, it's really only started in the last number of years. It's only in the last maybe 2, 3, 4 years that mental health is on our health and safety week, the agenda. But speaking up, whether it's male or female, whether it's in construction or any other industry, speaking up about issues is difficult. Where did you find the courage when you were at such a low point? Where did you find the courage to be able to speak out?
It's only because after going through it all, and obviously knowing I didn't die, I tried several different ways to end my life and it didn't work. Then it was a case of, okay, I'm not going to die. I need to, obviously I'm not meant to die for a reason. Then I need to change my life. So then I started getting back into work, because my old firm took me back on. So it meant I was earning good money again, and I could start to rebuild. And then I thought, I'm not ashamed of what I done. I suffer with bipolar, and I have no problem ever talking about what I'd done or what I tried to do. And by talking about it myself, so many other people now relate to it and says, yeah, I suffer with that as well. And I would say every single day, I'll probably get one or two people talk to me out on site or whatever and say what they're going through with their issues and things like that. And they're so relieved that they've actually got someone in common that they can open up and talk to, because otherwise there's no one. We all suffer in silence, sort of thing, on site.
In addition to the work that you're doing with construction buddies, you're still working on the building site every day. You're a project manager. How has that experience changed? Prior to the time that you went through, and you talk very openly about not wanting to live. Compare that time to where you are now, the connection on site, speaking to colleagues, asking for help, and maybe being able to identify the signs of other people around you needing help. How are those two experiences different?
Well, I suppose now compared to then, I had when I was going through, I had no one really to talk to. I even asked to be put in a mental home when I was actually tried to end my life, and they actually sectioned me and everything else. And but I kept saying to them, I need someone to talk to. And they kept saying, oh yeah, we were with you, be with you. But no one actually came and talked to me all the time I was in there. And I said to the psychiatrist, I've just got to get out of here. So I actually said to him, I want to get out for my birthday, which obviously I got out about a week later. And then I booked a flight to Cuba and went on holiday for a couple of weeks and stopped taking my medication, because medication actually I found wasn't actually helping me. It was just making me walk around like a zombie, which I said in another post before. I don't recommend, obviously, everyone stop taking medication because it depends on the individual. But at the time, it just made me walk like around a zombie and didn't help my life. And then since then, now I don't need medication. I know the signs and symptoms. So obviously, I know when obviously I get stressed or whatever. But now it's helped me now to be able to help other people with their issues, because I'm mainly listening. I don't advise people, oh, you should do this, do that, because in the end of the day, I'm not a trained counsellor. I'm a mental health campaigner, and I have on my websites, I have counsellors and stuff like that for that. And I signpost people to that, but mainly it's about me listening to people's issues.
Well, as you point out, you felt that you didn't have somebody maybe that could listen to you when you needed to speak. Do you think construction, is it a particularly tougher, more masculine, is this, and I don't want to use the word macho, but there's definitely the perception of it still being quite a tough industry. Does that make it a little bit more difficult, do you think, to talk about issues?
Well, it always has done, because no one actually wants to say, oh yeah, I'm suffering with mental health, or otherwise they always say like man up or whatever sort of thing. But I had it the other day, even like the scaffolder, for instance, on one of my sites, and he was actually just chatting away about I was chatting to him about mental health and all that sort of stuff, and he always walks around laughing and whatever, and then all of a sudden then he just started telling me about all his problems he has with his partner or whatever, and they're going to split up and everything else. And you think, well, okay, you don't give that impression when you talk to him normally. He walks around like all hard and boasting whatever about himself and whatever and that. But it was nice to see he actually was opening up about his private life, sort of thing.
It's very difficult to get to a place of vulnerability, and particularly with co-workers, if you think you're going to be seeing them every day on site, and I'm not sure if that's much different for men and for women. Maybe it is more difficult for men. I don't know. But in terms of working on a building site now, because you've been so open about your issues, when you're working there, do you think that makes people maybe more inclined to share some of their personal vulnerabilities with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because when I do my toolbox talk, I actually say, if you want to know anything about mental health, then talk to me, because I say there's obviously I've been there, done it, and I actually own several T-shirts now. So they most of them all open up. There's not many people that don't open up. I had one of my bosses phoned me the other week and said one of their mates went into the garden and wanted to end his life, and he said, well, he told his wife to tell his mates what he was doing. And I said, well, he's actually crying out for help. He's actually saying to you now that he wants help. And he said, well, the wife's told me not to contact. I said, but the guy is actually saying to you that he wants you to know, because now he thinks you're not interested in him. He thinks his mates don't care now. So I said, you need to talk to this guy. I said, because he is screaming out for help. And he said, oh, yeah, I don't know, because I don't want to upset the wife. I said, but the thing is your mate, your best mate, what happens if he goes and commits suicide tomorrow? He's going to think, well, you're going to blame yourself and thinking, I should have done something. But it's all you can do at the moment is talk to the guy. The worst thing can happen is he say, I don't want to talk to you. But otherwise, he could open up and break down and want to talk to you. So you need to talk to him now, sort of thing.
Is that the type of intervention you would have liked or needed?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Because he was thinking, two of his mates two of the guys that knew this guy contacted me, and I said to both of them, you need to talk to this guy. He is screaming out for help. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tell his wife to tell you that he's in the garden with a knife in his hand, wants to end his life. So you need to talk to this guy. He is screaming out for help. And that's the sort of thing that I get from where people actually open up to me, which is great for me, because it means I know that I'm hopefully helping them with their issues as well. Because obviously, if something happened to this guy, they would say, oh, I wish I'd done something. Where by me intervening, hopefully, they spoke to the guy now and he's actually getting help now, which he might not have done before.
Intervening, I can only imagine, is quite a difficult thing here. So, for example, for anybody listening in, and we have a construction and property audience here. So for people listening in, over the last number of years, there has been training on sites, maybe to keep an eye out for people, you keep an eye out for people on site, are there signs for people to be watching out? Because you referred to that scaffolding chap, and certainly there were no indicators there. He was a happy-go-lucky, almost kind of boasting, very not somebody who was outwardly showing the signs of struggle, and yet within a few moments of conversation you see that absolutely he was struggling. So is that what's likely to be happening on sites, or are there signs that people can watch out for amongst their team members?
Well, there's lots of professionals out there that say, yes, there's loads of signs and symptoms to look out for, but I don't know. I've not actually seen loads of signs and symptoms, because sometimes it could just be the quiet person that sits in the corner and you say, how are you, mate? And how's it going? How's your day? Sort of thing, and whatever, and they could open up. Or it could be someone that's just obviously, I suppose, like, for instance, like Robbie Williams, obviously a well-known comedian, obviously took his own life. For instance, like, he's always laughing and joking around. You think, oh, he's not the sort of person to end his life, but he probably didn't give any signs and symptoms before he died. Because obviously he was just that sort of guy that made everyone happy. So it's the same sort of thing on construction sites. People that you don't think are suffering are the ones that are suffering. I've had it where so many sort of high people in companies that I've met at London Build Exhibition, they've come up to me and says, like I say, like, for instance, not necessarily because it's Ireland, this guy in Ireland, and he said to me, I own so many of these these Bentleys in Ireland, and he said, does that make me happy? No. And that's the sort of thing it is. You can have loads of money and have all these flash cars, but it doesn't really make you happy. It can make you look happy to the outside person, but it's all about, to me, I say, it's getting people to open up, and that's what they do on building sites, because you just can't tell who is suffering.
Getting people to open up. I mean, how do we do that when there are no signs to look for? Then, is it a case that, is this a conversation that needs to be ongoing on every building site around the world?
Yes, 100%. I think we need to have more team meetings on site, and just get everyone together and say, look, I'm here. If you want to chat, I'm here. Any of you want to chat about how life is or anything like that? Because I know at events that I do, I get so many people that open up about their issues, whether they've been raped or they've there's just so much. Or even like one of the car shows, one guy walked up and he said, I wish my son had met you last year because he wouldn't have committed suicide. And if he read your story. And so many other people, like another person has come up to me and said, he's with his daughter, and he said, my wife committed suicide this year. And he said, and I blame myself. I said, you will do. I said, because you didn't see the signs and symptoms, but even though I might, whatever I will say, you'll still blame yourself. But obviously we all know it's not your fault because we hide it so well. We don't go around shouting that we're going to end our life. We just do it. The ones that are shouting about it obviously just want help. And then he followed me to the next event, and then he told me that he got been told he's got cancer. And then I hugged him, and he broke down and cried and walked away. And the next event, he actually came to me and said, Mike, I need help. So it's not all the people that say go around screaming and shouting. It can be the quiet ones, and it can be the people that scream, sort of like comment and laugh and joke or whatever, just because they it's an escape to hide what's actually going on in their lives.
So what are you doing through Construction Buddies? Because really what I'd love to do today is obviously raise the awareness for people across the industry. This is a conversation that we know has gotten started over the past number of years, and we just want to maybe normalize that conversation taking place. So it's taking place every day, not just during Construction Safety Week or not just during Mental Health Week. You know, that we're shining a light on a conversation that needs to happen every day that people are together. So what are you doing through Construction Buddies?
Well, there's a few things I'm doing with. Well, one is actually I'm help sponsoring and raising money on Construction Buddies to get with a company called Construction Youth Trust, is to get people in the construction industry under 30 that are out of work. So because obviously we need more people in the construction industry, it's just not enough. But also I've got, say, on my website, I've got counsellors, I've got where you can do training, which companies I've spoke to were sort of like they're companies that don't cost a lot of money to actually do your training with and things like that to save them money. And there's blogs on there. There's loads of different counsellors. There's just so much different type of help. But the idea is actually Boost Construction Buddies shall actually team up with companies and stuff like that, so I can actually put more stuff on there and have an app on there where they can get 24 hours helpline. Because I know there's lots of other companies out there at the moment. There's a few companies that want to work with me to have an app on my website where they can get, say, 24-hour help. That's my aim. But it all comes in time, and obviously I fund everything myself. I fund 50% of my wages each month goes on mental health. So that's how passionate I am about trying to save lives in construction.
What do you need for the traditional construction industry players to do to assist with this? You know, as in, what should construction employers be doing at this stage?
Getting people, basically getting people, they're someone in their company to have talks with all their guys to make sure they're not suffering in silence. Because I say there's so many people that I meet at events that actually open up. So that it means there's so many people that are still hiding what they're going through. I had a massive car company, massive car company that actually, because of my name of my website, actually thought I was actually part of that company. And I was getting all these emails from that company saying they're not looking after my mental health. And I actually said to them, well, I'm not actually part of the company, but I'll email the CEO and say, your guys have got issues because you're not helping them. And then obviously they said they was going to arrange a massive car event for their guys. And but that all just died a death sort of thing. It's just that I think there was just to try to keep me quiet but at the end of the day, it was their guys was actually screaming out for help and saying they were supposed to be getting help from their company, but they wasn't. So that's why there's so many people that you think are getting the help, but they're not actually getting the help from their companies. So we need to get companies to do more than what they're doing. Some of it, for instance, like at London Build Exhibition, I was there and I had my car there, and obviously talking about mental health, and they had a mental health platform there on the stage. And I sat right at the front and I was listening to all these people and I thought, what a load of rubbish. I actually got up and walked away because I thought all these people was actually, it just seemed like they were ticking boxes for their company, not actually been there and done it and everything else. And to me, it's all about not ticking boxes. It's all about making sure you are doing what you're saying rather than just ticking boxes in construction.
Look, that's a fair point. I know some companies, not necessarily construction, just in general, companies have been accused of maybe jumping on the bandwagon, taking a woke approach to mental health, but maybe not creating the changes in the environment that actually could help people in their day-to-day lives. And I appreciate it really is a difficult one. Mike, is there still a stigma around mental health?
Oh, yes, and there will be for a long time, until we can actually get it out there that it's not weak to speak. And obviously, there's so many different people that sort of like that are out there that still want to open up, but they don't, because they think it's still a macho thing. But we need to change that, because it shouldn't now. The times are changing, and that's the past. We need to start looking at the future and getting all our guys to open up about their issues and say, look, it's not an issue. It's not a problem to speak. Talk to us. We're here. We're here to listen, sort of thing. So use us.
When you went back to work, did you face any issues from either your employers or members of the team on site?
Not from my employees, because the employers, when I was going through all my mental health issues, I was actually working for the same company I went back to. They actually made me redundant only because it helped me financial wise to actually help me through the situation I was with at the time. So it actually done me a favour. But obviously going back to that company, no, because they all knew what I was going through, and I had no issues with any of the people that was obviously on my site or anything like that, because I said, this is what happened, and loads of people go through it. So it's just a case of moving on and talking about it. So no.
So did you feel supported when you went back to the workplace?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Because the company I was with, or still am now, I've actually just gone back to them in the last year. And, but yeah, no, they fully supported me, sort of thing, which was really good.
Has that company implemented any changes to support the rest of the staff? Do you think that this, has there been a level of awareness raised when you went back?
I don't think they have, but obviously they've actually know that I deal with all mental health. So if anyone in the company that wants to talk about mental health, they tend to come to me, sort of thing, which is quite good, sort of thing. So, yeah.
Okay, and look, thank you for being so open and generous with your time. Before we finish up today, is there a message that you would like to give to the industry or to people who might be suffering and just aren't in a position to open up? They're just not there yet.
Well, lots of people still won't open up. It's like when I'm at events, people will actually, sometimes they won't actually talk to me. They'll actually just nod and smile, like, in other words, they know what they're going through, but they're not ready yet at that stage to talk. Lots of people aren't, but get in contact with me on my website, and I can find counsellors and that can help them, sort of thing. So don't suffer in silence. We're all here, and there's loads of other companies that's on LinkedIn that are well happy to help people with their issues, sort of thing. So it's good to talk and have the ability to listen.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you so much. And I would urge anybody to just go visit the Construction Buddies website. In the meantime, we need to take a quick break. Stay tuned.